TNT Radio.
Good to have you with us. Well, here's a question for you. If a family member needed to be resuscitated and you were the only one on the scene, say it was home, in the kitchen or whatever, could you do it? Could you resuscitate your wife, your husband, your family member? Could you save their life, in other words? Probably not. Well, if that's the case, we should listen in very intently to this. Australian Police Rescue television star and former military paramedics are getting together as part of a group of Australians and first responders to launch an international cardiopulmonary resuscitation course, CPR course, to teach people the simple steps to save lives in its Don't Die July campaign. Now, each year, there are about 25,000 reported occurrences of out-of-hospital cardiac arrest in Australia, 25,000. And just looking beyond that, in the UK, it's 30,000. In the US, 350,000. Of these, only about 1 in 10 people survive. So go back to that 25,000. These are reported out-of-hospital cardiac arrests. Only 1 in 10 of those 25,000 survive, which is a terrible survival rate. My next guest is the leading face in promoting the Don't Die July campaign. Steve Bastoni is an Italian-born Australian actor, writer and producer with 3 Australian Acting Award nominations and over 40 years' experience in all facets of showbiz. He became a household name in Australia for his role as Constable Yanis Angel Angelopoulos in Police Rescue and as Steve Parker in Neighbours. His memorable performance in the 1998 movie 15 Amour earned him a nomination for the ACTA Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role. He joins us live from Melbourne. Steve Bastoni, welcome to TNT.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is really good because, you know, we don't stop. It's only when we go through a super, super tragic drama that we think, oh, if only I had of. Well, this right now will save people ever having to face this because we want to do it before the event occurs. We're playing a role in all of this. Don't Die July. We're playing the campaign ads already. Matter of fact, you probably heard your dulcet tones about 2 minutes ago. How did you come to join the campaign? I guess it was a no-brainer given what you did with Police Rescue.
Well, look, I was approached by Public Safety Training and Response Group to get involved in the campaign. I thought it was a terrific initiative and a much needed one. You know, my own son suffers from myocarditis post-COVID, and he's at risk in that regard. So I thought, well, you know, I need to brush up. I've done basic first aid before, but it's one of those things, Chris, that when you're on the spot in the heat of the moment, you know, reason can leave you and you go into panic mode. So you want it at your fingertips. You want to be able to, you know, do the basic CPR and be confident with it. So even for people who have a rudimentary knowledge of basic first aid, I think it's important for them to do this course to brush up on their skills. For me personally, I think, you know, it could save my son's life. So it's a very personal thing for me.
See, that's interesting. So you are equipped right now. If something, and let's presume that won't happen, but let's presume that something may happen, sadly, you are confident enough to be able to work on him and get him to the stage where you could get him to hospital and keep him alive.
Absolutely. We know that the first, you know, few seconds after a cardiac arrest are the most important ones. To keep oxygen pumping to the brain is the critical thing. And I've had to employ this myself. Well, a woman collapsed in front of me outside a supermarket one time, and I didn't know what to do. I was a bit in shock. I put her in the coma position. She had no pulse. She wasn't breathing. And I immediately just started the compressions on her chest. I didn't give her the rescue breaths because I forgot. Another great reason to brush up on it.
Brush up.
But I was able to keep her keep the oxygen flowing to her brain for long enough for the paramedics to arrive, and she made a full recovery, I'm pleased to say. I only know that because I was contacted by her daughter on Facebook some 3 months later and thanking me for saving her mother's life. And I just thought, wow. I mean, I didn't even know what happened to her. I thought, you know, in the months after the event, I often thought, I wonder what happened to that lady. And I was so happy to hear that she was alive. So it is something that, you know, we should all be really, we should all be proficient in basic CPR. It only takes 30 minutes. It's an online course. It's very easy to follow. Andre Swart, who's an ex-military paramedic, takes the actual modules, and I help to guide through the course. It's 30 minutes, and it's probably the best investment you can make, because you really can save a life.
So physically, how do we take the course?
So you just log on to go on the website, don'tdiejuly.com, and follow the prompts. It'll lead you to a step-by-step online module. Like I said, it's a very easy to follow. It breaks it down into 5 little modules, and in half an hour you're done, and you'll be able to give basic CPR.
See, it's interesting. I remember being at school, and you may have done the same thing. I did my bronze medallion at school and got my clothes on and swam 25 metres and all that sort of stuff, and did CPR. And, I thought to myself then, I'm set for life. I would not have a clue where to start.
Well, it's interesting you say that, Chris, because I myself have done basic CPR. I've done, I recently completed a mental health Cert 4 course where we were asked to do CPR and basic first aid. When they approached me for this, when Public Safety Training and Response Group approached me, I thought, I know this. And then I thought, what would I do? I can't remember. I can't remember. I can remember now. I know exactly what to do now, because I've just done the course a couple of weeks ago, and hopefully it's drilled in a little bit deeper. And should I need it again, I will know what to do in that situation. So, yeah, it's one of those skills that if you've got it up your sleeve, you can really make a difference. You can save somebody's life, and keep them alive until professional help, ambulance or paramedic arrives.
A mate of mine who used to have a swimming pool has actually got the old plastic sheet which shows how do you give CPR and resuscitation, and he's taken that from the old house that he used to have where he had the swimming pool. He's ripped it off the wall and he's put it up in his laundry for this express purpose. So if someone, for instance, needs resuscitation at home, he's able to have a look at the poster and remind himself. That's not such a silly idea, is it?
Absolutely not. I mean, we know that 80% of cardiac events happen outside of hospitals. So if, that's a staggering number. So if you have that kind of information available to you, then it's only going to help you keep somebody alive. Having it up on the wall is great. Doing the course and actually physically going through it, because your muscle memory will prompt you. Once you actually go through this course, you actually physically do it, and you're given tools to practice it at home as well. You can practice it on a pillow, on a bed, and become familiar with it. So when you do need it, you're not clouded by adrenaline. You just go, I know this, and you're straight in. It actually gives you a lot of self-confidence once you've done the course. So because you can actually, you're empowered to actually practice it.
It's a good tip, because certain people might fade in a drama. You're short of breath, you're panicked, but if you've got it as sort of part of your memory, that would be very handy to have. Now, this is an international campaign too, right?
That's right. Yeah, it's rolling out live in UK and America as we speak. So hopefully the Yanks can understand us. I can do this in American if it helps.
That's good. Hey, listen, when you were on police rescue, were there police rescues for real that had to take place? Because I remember watching some of those episodes thinking, they're in precarious situations, these dudes.
We did. Look, these days, there's no insurance company on the planet that would cover me what we did on rescue. Look, we jumping off buildings. We abseiled. I remember running headfirst down the Westpac building in the CBD of Sydney. Gary went off the MCG Tower. I went off Centrepoint Tower. There's no way in the world they'd do that, allow us to do that today. But fortunately, we didn't have any serious injuries. I did gash my hand once on a smashed a coffee cup in the middle of a scene, a very emotional scene. I had to get some stitches in my hand. And once I fell out of the makeup truck, which is really embarrassing to admit. Here we are playing these rough and tough action dudes, and I fall out of the bloody makeup truck. So we never got hurt doing any of the full-on action stuff like running through the bush and abseiling off cliffs and everything that show that demanded of us. So we were very fortunate in that regard. But we did get some basic training even back then in first aid. So it's something that, as I said, even though you've done it, it's really handy to have it refreshed, a refresher course, because you want it to be second nature once the adrenaline kicks in. I've been on action shows. I was in Matrix Reloaded. We had huge, massive action sequences. We had a full-on safety crew. Fortunately, nobody got hurt. And in that environment, it's you're in an action film. That's not real life. You've got to take two if you stuff it up. But in life, you don't have a take two. You've got to know what you're doing. And this is something that's very easy. As I said, 30 minutes and you're done. And you could literally save a life. So, I'm a strong believer in this campaign of awareness, and I hope a lot of people sign up, because it's one of those skills that literally is life-saving. You can't put a price on a life.
You can't put a price on a life. You're exactly right. You've explained it very well. You've motivated me, and hopefully you've motivated many of our audience as well. Don't Die July. The website's don'tdiejuly.com. Spread the word. Let your family and friends know about it. Don't Die July, and it doesn't necessarily have to be just in Australia. Tell all your friends everywhere around the world to be part of this, because wouldn't it be great that down the track you find out, hey, when you told me to go and do that, I did it and I saved someone's life the other day. How good would you feel? Hey, Steve Bastoni, fantastic to be part of this campaign. Congratulations, well done, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks for supporting us. And check us out on Instagram, Don't Die July. And we hope to spread the word far and wide. Thanks for your support, Chris.
No problem. Good on you, Steve. Thank you very much, mate. All right, there you go. Now it's up to us. He does his job. I've done what I can as a conduit. Now you have to either take that half an hour course and put yourself in a position to save a life. This is real. Or send the information out to family and friends and say, hey, could be the best half an hour you'll ever spend. And maybe just by you doing that, you too have saved someone's life. How good would that be? Let's take a break. Plenty more to get across, including your calls.